You know what? I love Harry Potter.
I do too.
I find it suspect if people don't. I'm going to let you guys in on a secret, and it might change a lot of things for you. Justin has never watched a Harry Potter.
Divorce him now.
It is. Every year when this subject comes up, I'm like, it's embarrassing. I think please take a weekend to yourself, binge watch all of them.
Yeah.
And then let's carry on and pretend this never happened. Hey everyone, we are here at the Thrive Well podcast with our fan favorite, Bre'Anna Tinsley, realtor partner here at Thrive Realty Co. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start out with something easy. What is something, Bre'Anna, that people don't know about?
About me?
About you, yes.
I used to play saxophone in 7th and 8th grade and in 10th grade as well.
Oh.
But my high school band was trash.
You're like, sorry guys, I just let everyone know.
Yeah. I went to Grand Valley, graduated with a degree in journalism. I worked as a reporter for like 5 years before I started in real estate.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Okay. So 5 years as a reporter. Mm-hmm. You graduated with this degree in journalism. What was that jaunt in that lane like?
It was interesting because I actually I've always wanted to be a writer. Let's start there. I always loved writing, attempted to write my own book when I was in the 7th grade. It was a whole thing. So I've always wanted to work somewhere in that kind of field. And I was just like, journalism, they write, sure. I imagined that I would work for magazines and live in New York and work on my articles while I'm in a coffee shop. It's still low-key.
The vision's
a bit
there.
Of a dream of mine.
There it is. Okay.
But in high school, I actually started learning TV and radio broadcasting. And then that transferred over into college. I did my major in journalism, but broadcast journalism. So I did a lot of internships working with radio stations, not at all where I thought I was going to end up. And I ended up at WDET, Detroit Public Radio, it's an NPR affiliate station. And it was pretty interesting. Not at all what I thought I would be doing either, because it's a lot of, political reporting and city reporting and stuff like that. And that's kind of the reason why I was okay with leaving it, because I wanted to be more entertainment.
Got it.
Than local stuff.
PR
yeah.
more.
But I think my time there really helped with me here, because now I know more about cities and the area that I grew up in and the areas that I lived in and stuff like that. And so I think it was really beneficial.
I remember when you first started with us, you were really going down the lane of the reporter, realtor. Yeah. What did you call that?
The realty reporter.
The realty reporter. I love that. You got to bring that back.
I do. I really do. And I think about it sometimes too, or even making a blog or stuff, or writing a blog or something. But honestly, that time too has really helped with me not being afraid of being behind the camera, doing Instagram reels and stuff like that. I can do that all day, not a problem, because I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking in front of people now because I'm used to doing that, or just talking to random people on the street. Phone calls do still get me, where I'm just do I want to bother this person today? Because it's a lot different in my head for some reason, calling the governor's assistant and being like, hey, can I talk to such and such about X, Y, and Z? I don't care. This is your job. You need to tell people what you're doing, versus calling someone's house and just being like, you want to sell? It's kind of different. As
you were just going through it, though, there are so many similarities, right? You're going through someone to get information you need and want in order to perform your role, and they can choose to share it with you, or they don't have to, right? Yeah. And I'm sure as someone who wanted to be in entertainment and PR, you're actually looking for information they don't necessarily want to share with you.
Yeah.
So as a realtor, calling homeowners and saying hey girl, hey guy, have you thought about considering selling right now and what it would do for you and your family?
You would think it would transfer easily in my brain. But I was just like, oh no, this is completely different. Now I'm a burden.
You're like, no, never mind. Never mind.
But once I pick up the phone and I start going, then I'm good.
You're good.
And it's especially when I have a script. I'm so used to reading off of scripts. As a reporter, I had to figure out what questions I was going to ask first, write them down, and then I'll just read those questions as I'm on the phone talking to people. Doing that as a realtor is pretty much the exact same thing. So as long as I'm prepared like that, I have no issues.
Love it. Yeah. Now, when it comes to, being the realty reporter, how do you think this benefits your clients, benefits people watching what you're doing, your knowledge around cityscapes and things that are happening within cities because you come from that background? I'm sure there's a part of you that's still, obviously, as a realtor, you're researching cities and important historical data that's gone on there.
Yeah. I still have a lot to learn, I think, because a lot of the city information I have is mostly around Detroit because it was Detroit Public Radio. But I think it's helpful, though, too, because I have a little bit more knowledge on, things that people may not necessarily know about, like what the inner city workings are, or what's going on with political things that's happening over there, maybe.
Yeah.
I will say that once I left the station, I did take a step back from the news, completely just turned it off because it can be so
draining.
Depressing.
Yeah.
So depressing. And I was just like, I can't look at this for a while. So I'm trying to get myself back into that and staying on top of current events. But the knowledge that I've already acquired does really help with educating my clients while we're out in the field.
Love that. Love that. Before you were at Thrive Realty Co., you were at another brokerage.
Yes.
So I'd love for you to walk us through the decision point of you coming to, you were at a franchised brokerage, which is a large kind of, it's almost like a ready and hot, right? It's just franchises are what they are. You have rules you have to comply with in order to fulfill the franchise agreements. And so business is done a certain way. And you made the choice to join a smaller company, an independent company that works a lot differently. And so walk us through that thought process.
So without naming any names, the company I was with before had a couple of changes internally with their management and team leads and stuff like that. And I just didn't feel like I was getting the education that I needed, the training, the support, the help that I needed. And it was just starting to get a little toxic. Also in these big brokerages too, it's kind of hard to find other realtors who are available to you when you have questions. A lot of times I felt like I was burdening people when I had to leave my desk to go ask someone a question and they're doing their own thing. Or most of the time people weren't even in the office because they're out doing whatever it is that they're doing, being top producers and stuff.
Grocery shopping.
Yeah. So I was just I'm not getting anything else from this place anymore, so I need to find somewhere else to go. I actually was just thinking about it when a random text came through that was just hey, are you thinking about leaving? Do you want to see what Thrive is about? And I was like, I've never heard of this place, but okay.
You're like, how did you know?
Yeah, it was perfect timing. And I was like, sure, why not? Because I was even thinking of just going to EXP. I was going to go there.
Okay.
I didn't mean to name things.
Yeah.
But going to another brokerage, I was thinking of going before I was at the one that I was at. But so when I got the message, I was like, yeah, and I did the video introduction with Justin.
Yeah.
And just the things that he was saying was just really resonating with me with what I needed. Just the level of accountability, the level of training, how hands-on everyone here is. This is what he was telling me during that. And I was like, okay, let's sit down and have a conversation. And best decision, honestly. Not to brag or be that person that's come join Thrive, but seriously, it's great here.
You heard it from her.
Yeah.
No, so let's talk about that because there's lots of people right now. In fact, I would say this marketplace, Bre'Anna, I've been team leading for quite some time, talking to agents all over the country for quite some time. This marketplace has more agents making moves in the industry to other companies, chasing their income rather than attracting it and working on it, taking kind of that silver bullet method. And So maybe we can help some folks. And maybe it's not towards Thrive, because we're certainly not for everybody. But when you went through that process and you were making the changes and you realized, hey, I don't have what I need here. I've exhausted my options. And I love that that's a part of your story. Hey, I was getting up from my desk. I was asking for help. I was looking for training. It wasn't available. So you decided, I need to make a move to better my career, better my situation. Happened to be Thrive that was in alignment with that. How can you help people who are in that same situation right now discover what their right next step is?
I don't know. I would say if you have that voice in your head that's telling you that maybe it's not you, maybe it is the environment that you're in, like, listen to it. I know it can be hard when you're comfortable in a certain place and you're looking to make changes, but it's just not happening for you. I would say don't ignore it. Definitely take a step back, see what it is that you are missing, and then don't be afraid to explore where you can get that.
When you made your transition, because doing new things is hard. There's no doubt about it, right? It doesn't matter if it's a new job, a new activity, a new hobby. I think you took up kickboxing, or what was it?
Yeah, kickboxing.
Yes. Yeah. That's hard until it becomes not hard at some point, hopefully. Yeah. What is your advice around doing hard things, and how do you keep doing it? How do you stay intrinsically focused and motivated?
I'm not the person to ask that question to, okay? I struggle so hard with it. But honestly, the thing I tell myself is just do it, you know? Nike,
you know? Baby. That's right.
I just watched Air last night too.
Oh, so such a good movie.
But yeah, so for example, with kickboxing, I had taken like a week off because I was out of town, and then there was issues with my car, and then we didn't have power. It was just like a whole thing. Yeah. Everything happened in 1 week, and so I wasn't able to go. And the next day, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go today. Getting up that morning, I was sitting there, and I was just like, I don't want to do this. I haven't been here in a week. Like, I can wait until tomorrow. It's totally fine. And I was this close.
I think my hamstring's tight.
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea.
I was this close to talking myself out of it. And then I was like, no, you got to do it because you said you would. And nothing changes if you don't change. Nothing changes or whatever that.
Yes, that's it right there.
And also in every aspect of my life, in work, in my personal life, in church, like I keep hearing that same thing, and nothing's going to change if you don't change. And also, you don't grow in your comfort zone. So there are things that I want, and I had to remind myself of this that morning. Like, there are things that I want that I'm not getting by just laying here scrolling TikTok. So I got up and I went. It was a hard 30 minutes because I hadn't been there in a week. Yeah. But I felt great afterwards. And so a lot of things too, it's just like, just freaking do it.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Well, and I think that's good. I mean, sometimes people are looking for this profound, stoic reasoning or examples, and the simplicity of, no, it's really as basic as just get up and go do it. Just show up. That's it. It's 80% of what you're after is simply showing up. Yeah. The rest will unfold, whether it's today, tomorrow, the next day. So I love that. Yeah. How is kickboxing, by the way?
It's so hard.
Is it?
It was great the first week. I was like, look at me. I'm a badass. I could fight
really hurt you with my foot right now.
And that day too, I was like doing these squats, and I was like, man, this is tough. Why do my legs hurt? But again, if I want to get better. And before I even had like that break and everything too, I was seeing progress, because when I started, I couldn't hold a plank for 3 seconds. Now I can hold it for 10.
Amazing.
You know, I couldn't go through each round without taking a water break. Now I can go through the whole thing for 30 minutes straight and no breaks, keep going. So even if I'm not seeing anything physically, I am feeling it mentally and like, you know,
absolutely. Like compounding. So, yeah. I had a mentor that definitely ingrained in my mind, tiny hinges swing big doors. And that mentality to me, to envision a big door, I mean, a door right here with these tiny hinges, that's all it takes. So it's these small movements, micro wins every time you go that increase your progress, increase your stamina, and you're off to the races.
And it's only been a month, which when I think about it, I'm like, that's a long time, but it's also not a long time at all. So
yes. I love it. Incredible. How do you think, and what do you think about this? Because it's something that I find to be exceptional about what you do on a daily basis. You, like clockwork, come into the office. You sit in the same desk. You pull out your same computer. You're coming in, day out. The rain isn't stopping you. The clouds aren't stopping you. You're accountable to what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to show up, but you got 2 flat tires, you let people know, hey, I can't make it in. I was absolutely intending on it, but this thing happened, so it's not today. How do you think that contributes to your success, your mentality?
I think it definitely contributes a lot because I know myself, I can't work from home. Even if I say I'm going to, I'm definitely not going to. I'm just making excuses to scroll on like Facebook.
Now we know.
Yeah, no, if I'm like, I'm working from home, I'm not doing anything. Call me and be like,
get your ass in here.
Just stop. So I have to do those things because the only way I am going to move forward is if I am here. Even if I am here and I haven't been what I thought was productive, at least I came in today. So that's pretty much it. I have to be here.
And so let's talk about that. Let's dissect it a little because I can absolutely agree with you. During the pandemic, I did an enormous amount of research on working from home, going into offices, synergy paths between humans, between just working environments, right? Being in a community-driven place versus isolated in our homes and what that does psychologically to us. I personally was obsessed with it because I have 3 children. And so that part, as a parent, I was like, this is trouble. These are really important years for our children to create identities and hobbies and thoughts around what they like and don't like. And we're isolating that. And then you take it to the adult level and the business level, and it's like, we are in the people experience business. We're driven by people, and now we're all stuck behind closed doors. What's that going to look like for incomes, for mentalities and psychological issues that might happen during that process? So when you come into the office, what is it that says, Bre'Anna, you're better at the office than you are at home?
I learned this in college that I have to be in a place that says work in order for me to work. If I'm in a comfortable spot, I'm going to do comfortable things.
Yes.
So in college, I couldn't do my homework in my dorm room because I've got my PlayStation, I've got my TV, I've got all this, I've got my bed. I love naps. I'm going to take a nap, so I had to go to the library because that tells my brain I'm here to do this. So it's the same here too. When I switched from the station to real estate, I thought I would be able to do that, but I've always been so it's been ingrained in me to go. You leave your house to go to work.
Yes,
and so that's what I had to do then too. 2020 was really hard for me because I didn't have anywhere to go, and I tried to work. Instead, I did a lot of CE classes and stuff like that, and a lot of designations and everything. So I felt like I was doing something. Yeah. But in all reality, I had to leave the house. And when I was doing things, I would probably go outside or something, or just go somewhere that wasn't at home.
The comfort of home. I love that. So brilliant, because that is actually backed by science. There's many articles right now, especially after the pandemic, talking about how home in the brain is comfort, safety, let your guard down, relax. You're around your people. You can just chill.
Yeah.
And you do different things at home. Right? You take care of laundry, you take care of personal items that create the opportunity for you to get up and go do the thing you want to do the next day. And I love the fact that you correlated, hey, in order for me to take action in my career, it's outside this home. Yeah. This home I come back to after doing a day's worth of work. So
I don't know if it's compartmentalization. I'm really good at it. But the minute I step out of being a realtor, I'm not a realtor.
Yeah. Okay.
Like when I'm at home, I'm at home. Yeah. And I don't think about anything else other than I'm at home now.
Right.
That can be kind of hard sometimes when you're pulled out of that because you get a phone call or you get an email or you get a text message or something like that. But yeah, once I leave, I'm out.
You're done. Yeah. Once you're done with your showings, your things, you go home to be Bre'Anna.
It's good for me because it helps me stay me and relaxed. Yeah. I'm not a very money motivated person, so I'm not always just like gotta go. That's just it's just not how I am. So
you do what you need to serve the life you want to live.
Yeah,
that's what it's about. What have you found to be most challenging in your real estate career?
Consistency.
Okay. Consistency in activities and what?
Yeah, in activities.
Okay.
So back to, I have to be here in order to work because I have so much freedom to not be here. There aren't any like real consequences or anything that like if I don't show up here like every day, it's not like I'm going to get fired.
Sure.
Sure. Because I can still do other stuff, outside, like if I'm showing or whatever. But because I recognize that, it's hard for me to be like, yeah, you do have to, still do these things and everything. So when I talk myself out of things, I really talk myself out of things, and I'm not showing up regularly.
Well, let's go back to you, because there are aspects I see that you do that are so consistent.
Okay.
Truly above and beyond most people. And what is it that you do in order to support yourself? Because I would say that's the number one issue a lot of agents have is, people in general, staying consistent. So what is it that you do in order to prepare for your days to make them consistent? To make your morning routine the same so that you're getting into work and you're doing the thing?
Honestly, I have no idea.
You have no idea. It's just
every day. I'm just here.
You're subconscious. You made the choice then.
I've made the choice that I'm going to show up. And so getting up and coming to work is just like habit now.
Yep.
It's doing the activities while I'm at work.
Yep. Is just what following the yellow brick road.
Yeah, just following that. Because I get bored and I get distracted easily. Like, all right, I made 20 phone calls yesterday. I got to make another 20. Who am I even going to call? I'm tired of talking to people. Let's do something fun and let's, do an event, or let's do something new at an open house or something. So I'm always trying, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but I am trying to put some razzle dazzle on it sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and you know what you're saying? You're staying in the box.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing. And you're just choosing different levers to say, I'm going to exercise this today.
Yeah.
Exercise that today.
But the problem is that when I switch from each one, sometimes I don't stay in one of them long enough for it to mean anything.
Got it.
So that's what I mean by consistency. So I'll do this day, and then I'll do something the next day.
You're not going deep enough.
But I'm not going deep enough.
Okay.
So that's really what I mean with that. Like, I know all the things that I should be doing, and I try all of the things.
Yeah.
But am I doing it long enough?
You said something that is so interesting to me. And it's interesting to me because I used to be simply a solo agent on my own, no Thrive, no nothing, just me as an agent selling houses. And I never had the mentality that if I don't show up, I won't get fired. So, screw it. I'm going to do whatever I want today. And so as I went into leadership and I went into helping other realtors doing this, and I found that was the number one thing they all thought. That was the number one mentality realtors have. I'm an independent contractor. I can do as I say and I can do as I please, and it's up to me. Can you imagine a world in which all realtors treated their careers as actual jobs, like you had at the radio station?
If we all did how I was at the radio station, like if I don't turn in this article, I will get fired. Yeah, I'd be amazing. So I'd be the best agent out of here. I think people get into real estate a lot of time, I think, too, for that freedom. And then maybe we just take it a little too far, especially when you think about how the 9-to-5 work life is ingrained in us from like school age.
Right.
You get up, you go to school, you do the work, you come home, you do your homework.
Usually your parents have done it.
Yeah,
right.
Everyone's doing it. When you get that taste of freedom, you can get drunk off of it really quickly. And I think people struggle with having to go back to that, because the whole purpose for them leaving is because they didn't want that. And so now you're trying to figure out, how do I construct my life in a way that real estate can be beneficial and can actually work, but I still have that freedom. And I don't know if it's really enough training around doing that, because it's a lot of grunt work in the beginning too, just because that's just the nature of the business.
Well, think about what we just said, right? When you start anything that is challenging to you, and it's relative to all of us. What's challenging to me might not be hard to you at all. You're like, Jess, I could do this with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
You are very creative. You do journaling, right? You make journals, you make organizational things. I would sit down and be like, Bre'Anna, I do not know how to even start that. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So it's relative to the person, but hey, I know with kickboxing, I just got to show up. That's it. I just have to show up and do it. So when it comes to freedom, I think the most interesting fact around this, and this is not emotional opinion from me, this is a fact. Discipline equals freedom. When you've earned your freedom, you have a plethora of choices in what you do with your time and your money. But that's such a missed factor in real estate, that it's not an earned place. The discipline doesn't need to exist. And so that's what creates these star agents that are like, here, there, everywhere. Today, not tomorrow. Today, not tomorrow.
I think discipline has such a negative connotation too, because it sounds strict. It sounds hard. It sounds constricting, and people don't associate that with freedom. And so when you say, you need to be disciplined, they're going to combat against that. And that can be why it's so difficult.
Yeah. You know what? I just had a light bulb moment. Thank you for that. Because I think as children, right, when we grow up, when you're getting disciplined, it's ingrained as a negative connotation in our brain. So I am sure that's probably where that's born from, is discipline is bad, right? Like it's too constricting and it's not a good feeling. Whereas I had a different experience with discipline on the other end of that, which is I was an athlete. And so if I was disciplined in training and doing what I needed to do, the reward of winning or the reward of helping my team win, which was my thing. I loved teamwork. I hated this. I would botch my solo races because I despised being solo and winning. I wanted to do relays always. So that ingrained in me the discipline around what is on the other side of that. And then all of a sudden showing up to practice and running the miles that at first I hated and doing the drills that I didn't want to do in the beginning of the season became fun because I became good at it. And when you become good at something, it's like, well, this feels good. Let's keep going. Kickboxing feels good now. I am seeing the progress. I see what this is able to do for me. So we should work on that together. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.